T minus 2 minutes. T minus 2 minutes. T minus 1 minute. T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And a warm welcome to each one of you. Good evening. For those that are not in the US, it's probably good morning to you guys, or like a good night. Welcome to each one of you. Please don't be shy. Tell us in the chat where you're from. I'd like to see some love coming through on the chats so that we can at least know who's online. All right, so let's get stuck in on what we need to talk about. We're going to still have that thought about, do we need to do more than just standard of care? Olivia, it's nice to see you here from Arizona. Margaret from New York City. Okay, that's lovely to see. All right, so I see it's starting out slow. Are the people just coming online now? But I see in the chat of YouTube, they're not talking on the chats. Let's see. From Georgia, that's Michelle from Georgia. That's good to see. All right, so let's get stuck into what things that we need to be talking about. And just a reminder to please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube, especially because YouTube reminds you to go watch. From Michigan, hello Sandy from Michigan, and write that telephone number down, because that's a number you're going to call. And yet I'm holding the phone in my hand, the phone that you're going to be calling. It's a mobile, and you guys are going to be calling on that number, so keep that number handy. All right, I see Wendell. That's a name that I've seen yesterday from Charlotte. Hello, Wendell. Warm welcome. Now next week we're going to be talking about, is ivermectin the answer? Okay, so we're going to be talking about that tomorrow. Gordes, nice to have you here. Oh, so it's Gordes, not Sandy. But in any case, let's get back to next week. We're going to be doing ivermectin and also the fenbendazole. So you do not want to miss that one. So we're going to be talking about that as well next week. Templeton in California, I just see it as SR, senior, and full of blessings. Thank you for the blessings. We're all going to enjoy the blessings. Today we're going to talk about what is legend blueprint therapy. Now, my intention was not to be talking about this. Hello, Sue. Thank you for saying hi. But so many people have asked me, sent a message through, said when they see the scans, we talk about the legend blueprint therapy, what is it about, and that's why we're talking about it today. Now, we have touched already on things like, for example, that we need to focus on the cancer itself. So those cancer cells, those organisms, they need to be killed. That's one of the approach, because we want to talk about a holistic approach. Holistic means it's being the whole of me, and the whole of me being comprehensive. That's our approach with the legend blueprint therapy. Then we spoke about the mitochondria before. That is definitely something we need to take care of, and this is part of the comprehensive holistic therapy. We need to make sure that the healthy cells stay healthy. That's extremely important aspect. Healthy cells staying healthy. Then our nutrition wise, making sure that we are not feeding the cancer with the glutamine, feeding the cancer with glucose in the blood. We spoke about how our spine affects cancer, so that's also something that needs to give attention to. Then also the fight or flight, how the fight or flight happens. Hello, Shauna from Florida. It's nice to see you here. And then we spoke about the legend blueprint therapy part of the wellness mapping. That it forms part of holistic approach. And the last one is a mindset. Now, I haven't discussed mindset yet. And if you guys want us to talk about mindset and cancer, emotions and cancer, then make sure to let me know whether you want me to put that in as well. So in the comments, if you say you want us to talk about mindset, for some people, they believe mindset is woo-woo. I don't need to know about mindsets. I think positive in any case, so some people don't want to do that, but let me know in the comments whether you want mindset as one of our subjects we talk about. Hello, William from Oregon. Rather late than ever. All right. With the legend blueprint therapy, I've seen miracles happen with many thousands of people. And why is this? Is because when a person gets diagnosed, you've got this discomfort of you have to go through mentally saying, I need to cope with this. You don't know where to start. And then what has happened? The doctor immediately says, okay, first of all, let's do chemo. Now, most of the time it says chemo because we just want to or just change the size of that chemo so that the doctor can then refer you over to surgery. That's normal process going through. Now, if you are a person, I see there's quite a few saying mindset, beautiful, I will cover that mindset for you guys. Once you see it, you are going to be shocked to see what we can do about mindset. Extremely important. Richard, I see you also would like the mindset, and senior Margaret, Olivia, I see all would like to have the mindset covered, and we'll get there. Then they can take you over to radiation. After radiation, so now we've done radiation, now we need to do immunotherapy. So these are the normal processes. And if the one did not work good enough, then they do the next. Or they say, now just to be sure, let's do some radiation. Let's be sure, let's do some immunotherapy. And then when it didn't work, or you are getting extremely ill, too weak, and then the people start thinking, what if we go over to diet and fix it with diet? Now I just interrupt myself down there. Normally immunotherapy, and then they go over to hormone. That's basically standard of care. That's a range of standard of care that they are doing. But then when that did not work, then people say, oh, maybe I must give attention to diet. Now, anybody of you thinking that diet is going to cut it, it's not going to. Diet can contribute, but it cannot be the answer to this. So if chemo and everything did not work, diet is not going to do it. Is it going to be valuable? Most certainly, if you know what to diet with. And then they start rushing over to alternative. And if alternative doesn't work, then they look for something else, and they get to the resonant frequency. Now, what if you don't have to do one after the next after the next? What if we just say that instead of running out of time, we say we're going to stack them all together? So before you even start doing chemo, let's put the diet in. Let's put the alternative. Let's put the resonant frequency in. Any and everything together. Now remember, next week we're going to talk about the ivermectin and fenbendazole, which falls within this alternative here. So we stack so much on top of each other so that we can change the odds in our favor instead of the cancer's favor. So the odds must be in our favor. Now, if you've already gone through chemo and you're already in surgery, for example, then we would like to say it's not too late. You can still be doing it, and hopefully you don't have to do the rest of the stuff. If we can get you healthy without going through for more destruction, then that's the idea that we want to do. Now you might ask, but how would I know what worked for me? Was it the surgery? Was it the diet? Was it alternative? Was it resonant frequencies? What was it? Do you care if you've got complete wellness? You're just going to say, I've got my wellness. I don't care which one worked. But it's not which one worked. It's because you stacked the odds against this cancer. But you have to do it with knowledge. And that's part of what we're going to be talking a little bit later. So the focused harmonic resonance is one of the technologies I use within the Legend Blueprint therapy. I believe this is the world's most comprehensive solution. Comprehensive because it's bringing all the points together, even the mindset. We tackle everything that needs to be tackled. Now, let me give you an example of why do we talk about frequencies. Now, our emotions are frequencies. Now, bear with me on this. If you take a tear and you look under a microscope, you're going to see the formation of these molecules in the tear. And you can see how it looks. Now take a tear from grief and you compare it with a tear of change or tear of laughter. Can you see the massive change between the different types of emotions of creating this tear? It's just with emotion. And suddenly we've changed our internal body. And I love the fact that you guys say mindset's important. Annie, I see you also say yes, mindset. It's important to have the mindset, because once we start realizing our mind can physically affect our body, then things are going to start changing. And here's example: just the emotion can change the tear. Now, another thing is tear carries frequency. Now, why am I saying tears carry frequency? Because I'm building up to cancer carries a frequency. Now let's come back to the tear. If you take a tear of grief from a female and you give it to a male to smell, instantaneously the testosterone drops. Take that in for a moment. So what we're saying here is there's no odor in that tear, but still the testosterone drops. It's the sensing of the frequency. So which means is even the people around you are affecting your body. Because if a male smells that female tear of grief, this is one thing tested, and how many thousands of stuff out there is not tested. And just think about grief. The spouses of the person with cancer normally takes more strain than the person with the cancer, because they take the emotional stress. They take more emotional stress than anybody else. And that emotional stress can be carrying over into the person looking after. So even our caretakers must have the right attitude, the right frequency to build this home of health around us. Now, I'd like to just give you an understanding of how amazing our body is. As soon as a sperm enters into the egg, you'll see it's the video standing on 1 minute 36 seconds. And I'm going to play it and see the time, or glance over to the time. Doug, I can believe you are anxious to hear more about the ivermectin and the fenbendazole. I think it's going to be very nice for you to view that live that we're going to have. Now, I'm going to start playing this video, and you're going to see a ball of light. That's a frequency that goes through the mother's body. Now, here's a shocker. When that frequency exposes the body, then if the mother had autoimmune disease, instantaneously the autoimmune disease switches off. Isn't that fascinating? Look at the frequency of the light and look at the time. See that? That's the flash. That happens under 2 minutes 30 seconds. So 1 minute 57 seconds, you get that flash. It's the frequency that goes out the body, sending a signal, say there's life now. Now, it's important to understand this type of stuff, because frequency can be controlled. And look at frequency control, this substance of a liquid substance. Look at that. It can move it and come back to exact same spot with the various frequencies. So this is the value of frequency, and even our body is created with the frequency. Now, why am I saying our body is created with the frequency? Now, doesn't that look like a spine? And when we combine certain frequencies together, then we can physically create structure like that. So our body's designed, it starts out with frequency. We get a frequency, the mother gets a frequency, everything's frequency. So when you want to pick up your hand, what's going to happen? It's a frequency sent through your nervous system. Now what's fascinating, within 72 hours from conception, within 72 hours, your cranial nerve is already developed, or starts developing. Within 72 hours, your cranial nerve starts developing. That's because it must start creating these signals that send through. So those that are living under power lines or something like that, and the babies are misformed, is these frequencies that gets interrupted while the baby gets formed. So now frequency is sound. So let's take sound frequency and we say, can sound frequency kill organisms? And look at this. Keep your eye on this middle one here. You see it explode. Now keep your eye on the right. See it explode. See at the bottom, you can see it explode. So all of these organisms explode. So whether it's organism or cancer, what happens? The organism starts heating up on the membrane, and then it physically explodes. Now don't worry, this debris that happens, it's not that it's going to now spread through the body and you've got the whole body full of cancer. No, it means it's dead. There's no organism to run this cancer cell anymore. That's the value of sound therapy. Now, when we talk about magnetic resonance imaging, what are we seeing there? It's resonating frequency, magnetic resonance. So we just want to know what's the resonance to see how healthy it is. If it's white or black or what have you, we're going to identify what is busy happening within the body. So here's, for example, MRI from breast. Now, I don't have to show you where there's a problem. You can see there is a problem, right? Just pretty much, and you can see that is a problem. So that, what we're seeing there, is a tumor, because it's resonating differently. So if we know what's that resonating, then what can we do? We can focus that resonance frequency. Now for a fascinating thing, and this is the aha moment you guys probably were going to be waiting for, is we can listen to the sounds of the cells. Now the sounds of the cells means that we can see the cells, we can hear it if we record it. Listen to these two sounds. The first one is a stressed living cell. The second one is a healthy cell. So I'm going to keep quiet now and we're going to play the stress cell and listen to the sound. And then we're going to compare it with the healthy one. Old radio that cannot be tuned in, right? A static noise. Now, let's go listen to a healthy cell. Can you hear there's a rhythm? Now, if that was fascinating, tell me it was fascinating. To see this, to hear this, and it's things that we don't know about. So tell me what was it? Doug, yeah, the MRI dye, remember that is, we take 2 or 3 weeks ago, we spoke about the carbohydrates that becomes blood sugar, which is glucose. That dye is glucose in it. So it's very important to be able to look into it. I'll cover some risk factors of dyes and all these things in one of these weeks coming on. Just a reminder, next week is going to be the ivermectin, so you need to do the subscribe to be reminded. Okay, so make sure you're available to be reminded. To do that, you must click that bell sign so that you can get that. So, Olivia, yes, you say it's amazing, right? It just shows you how much we need to do. Richard, reoccurring melanoma. It's not reoccurring. Cancer does not come back. It was always there because the environment, how it started, is still there. If you do not look at the root cause, you're not going to be able to get to the healing part. So let's talk about standard of care. I call it a shelf product. Why is it a shelf product? Because when you walk in by the oncologist, now I've got your example as a tumor in the lung, and what happens? They say, oh, this tumor is this size. So what we need to do, we need to reduce the size with chemo. And then as it reduces in size, they say, okay, now it's good to be able to remove with surgery. And then we're going to do some radiation in the area in case we missed it. That is the general standard out there. And if you've gone through this process, or the doctor suggested this is the process we're going to do, just give me saying, yes, that was standard of care, okay? If anybody asks me, what do I stand for and what do I stand against? I categorically stand against standard of care. Not about standing against medical, standard of care. We've got brilliant doctors out there that have to follow a standard of care and not follow their intellect to be able to know how they're going to adjust the therapy for this specific person. It has to follow a certain protocol, and that's the standard of care. Now, what's fascinating is if the person comes in with either of these, whether the tumor is this big or this small, either or, what is the answer from a doctor? Exactly the same. Let's reduce the size with chemo, then we're going to do surgery, then we're going to do radiation. So just think about it. The one person comes in with big tumor, then say, okay, I can buy into that. Maybe it's just too big. We're going to cut out too much, so let's reduce it to get to this size, and then we're going to surgically remove it. Why don't we say to this person with a smaller one, or if it reduces to this size, that says, okay, now we can surgically remove it. If the person comes in with this size, then the third size, then it's like, let's just surgically remove it immediately. Why put the body through chemo? That's why I'm against standard of care. It's not personalized. It's standard of care. You're not standard. You're person. And that means you need personalized care. Now, if cancer was an iceberg, what standard of care doing? Focusing on the iceberg they can see. Because that's the cancer. They've done a scan. They can see the tumor. So let's do that. But now, the reasons of cancer is all of that not being seen. So if we're not going to do a personalized wellness mapping, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. What's going to happen? You're not going to know what the reasons are. We're not going to get to identify your specific personalized care that you need to do. So if we're going to take care of only the cancer, what's going to happen? It's going to get smaller. No matter what you do, if you surgically remove it, whether you do chemo, whether you do radiation, whether you do it with frequency, no matter how you do it, whether you do it with ivermectin, whether you do it with filling it blank, if you focus on just the tumor getting smaller, what's going to happen? The environment, the reason is still there, which means it's just going to go back to where it was. So it's not a return, it's just the same environment's there, and we're just acting on the same behavior. That's all that's busy happening. But should we give attention to the reason of cancer, then what's going to happen? Everything is going to start reducing. And if you do it long enough and well enough stacking on it, you can do a better job. So what I'm saying here is if we can eliminate the reason of cancer, what's happening? There's no cancer. That's why I say cancer is not a difficult topic, it's just a strategic topic. And if we go with the right strategy, we are going to get to that. All that you want is complete wellness. So what is your choice? When you get diagnosed, I'm going to be conventional medicine, or I'm going to be alternative. Now, those that do the conventional, the chemo, radiation, surgery, what have you, those are your choices as conventional mostly. Then alternative is your supplementation, your diet, your fenbendazole, ivermectins. These are your alternatives normally. But what's very fascinating is those that went to do the conventional. And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not talking against it at all. That conventional, when it fails, they rush over to alternative, hoping that the alternative is going to do better than the conventional. They're hoping. Not strategy, just hoping they grab to the right thing. Those that went only alternative, it did not work. They are forced to go to conventional saying, let's go try, maybe I was wrong. That's your choices, and that's the behavior, and we don't blame any one of the others. It's just how it happens. So what if we rather put the two together and we say we create this bridge? Because all you want, either conventional or alternative, you want complete wellness. That's all you want. And that's what we're going to be focusing on, the Legend Blueprint Therapy. Just a reminder, do your YouTube subscription for next week's ivermectin and fenbendazole. So let's talk about the next step. Sorry, let me just back up for a moment. On the Legend Blueprint Therapy, we've got three facets that we go through. It's the cancer attack phase, and then it goes over to the body healing phase, because the reason for the cancer is the healing phase. The last one is the maintenance. Once again, not for it to come back, but rather to change that part of the cancer you could not see, which was the reasons. If we take care of that, maintain it well, then there's no reason for the cancer to start up again. Not coming back, to start up again. You don't want to do it once and then say, oh, I need to do it again, because it sucks to have cancer. So let's focus on getting complete wellness. And when we talk about the mindset, so let's say next week's going to be ivermectin and fenbendazole, the one after that we'll put the mindset in. And then once we start doing that, you're going to be shocked. You're going to make some life-changing decisions then on that day. So just for those that that have got cancer, this is only for my cancer patients. I'm going to go through this very quickly because it is a repeat of those that have seen it. And for those that haven't seen it, just take the word from anybody. Anybody that's done the personalized wellness mapping, please in the chat just say whether the personalized wellness mapping was worth it. Saying personalized wellness mapping is worth it. Okay, so just type that in so I can, just for those that have done it, so we can just have some of the others that haven't seen it to just to hear what's your opinion about it. Okay, we need to go beyond the limitations of blood tests. You are limited in blood tests. You cannot identify the emotion, for example, to be able to know that the tear is going to start changing with blood. There's other things that must happen as well. Like, for example, why did the immune system fail? We can see that the immune system failed if we can see that killer T cells are not there. We can see that in the blood. But why did it fail? Not easily with blood tests. Hence the fact that we need to, for example, know the thymus gland. That's your number one cancer destroyer. Okay? Search and destroy. Then your immunoglobulin, your number one cancer killer. Why is it the killer? It pulls a trigger on having that cancer killed. That's the number one killer because it pulls the trigger. That trigger marks it with a bullseye and say you cannot get away. Now you are marked for destruction. That's immunoglobulin. The spleen cleans 2 million red blood cells. And how many of you had a doctor say, let's look at the spleen? Just does not happen. Why? Because they're not looking at the reasons. They're just focusing on that tumor. You need somebody to stand back. If you're busy climbing a mountain, you need somebody to stand back and look what route you're supposed to be taking. We need to know whether there's inflammation. Because if we don't know whether there's inflammation, then our immune system is going to fail. If we don't know the body is in sympathetic state, the immune system is going to switch off. These are things that we need to know. So prior to going saying, I want to do the legend blueprint therapy because of the amount of success, I'm not allowed to say it in public here, but once you're a client, I'm allowed to tell you what the success rate is. We need to say that you first have to do the personalized wellness mapping because we need to map to know what's busy happening. For example, we need to know each individual on the cranial nerve, is that causing the switching off of the immune system? We need to know whether your small intestine, large intestines are a problem on absorbing the nutrition. These are the type of things we need to know. So when we do the test, it's a lot. It's 170 pages. Well, then, when I saw your name and I said, yes, spoke to you like 2 or 3 days ago. Here he says it was worth it. Why is it worth it? Because it's information, right? Margaret, same thing, worth it. Senior, definitely worth it. It's nice to see that we've got all our clients in here. It's all going about saying it's worth it. Why? Because it's information to know that we can now work out a strategy. So those 170 pages goes into 17 chapters. I put videos on to go through step by step how to do things. We look at the food, what food you're supposed to be eating, what nutrition shortages, like for example, you see this one's got 18 shortages, 18 nutrition shortages out of the 34 that we tested. It's stuff that you need to know so that you can make educated decisions on your behavior and obviously educated decisions throughout. If you're taking any supplementation, you know when you go urinate, you can smell that urine filled with the vitamins you've just taken. Why? Because your body's not absorbing it. If you don't know you're absorbing it, not absorbing it, then what are you going to do about it? You're not only saying, I'm flushing down nutrition that you wanted to give to your body, but also flushing down the money you spent on that. Hence the fact that when you do the personalized wellness mapping, we send the equipment out to you with a return label, comes back, and then we're going to do the analysis. Now, it's normally $161. I'm going to give it to you totally free. All that you do, you pay for the shipping. Now the shipping, we put it a flat fee to there and back, is only going to be $35. That's a great deal to be able to get this amount. So my clients that's already here, just say to me, it's a great deal, or do you feel it was not? Well, you already said worth it. Not even necessary. You said was worth it. If I charged you $200, you would still be paying it, right? It was worth it. So it's only $35. Why am I giving it free? Because you may go through my process and I do not even have space for you in my practice. It's because it doesn't help that so many people out there don't know what to do. The oncologist or their holistic oncologist haven't got these type of tools, and now you can walk in with this 170-page report and saying, doctor, please help me. That's if there's no space in my practice. We need to do the best we can for our patients. You're flushing down more than $35 a month. Let's do the personalized wellness mapping. It's only at $35. Remember to be able to subscribe, and then for those that want to call in, you're going to call in now on this phone. It is live and ready. Let me just make it. There it goes, live and ready. Yeah, there you can see the pretty one of me without the beard. And if you want to take up the offer, it's going to be you texting live 90. Okay, you text live 90 to that number 346-550-9331, and then we're going to send you the link of the promotional codes, and you can go through those steps. For those that want to call in to ask a question, you're more than welcome to do it now. Okay, Douglas, so your wife is on your. Did they take your husband's spleen? Did they remove the spleen? Is that what am I seeing here? That's just the worst ever. And there's so many strategies one can do to be able to repair the spleen. So I see Douglas saying, well, I'm not, you'd probably in Douglas's report, but it's the wife that's on it saying, I took my husband's spleen. Tell me more about that. Right, Sandy, I'm glad to hear that was good information on the report. Brilliant to see. All right. Thank you for answering, Douglas, that the spleen was removed. I had somebody today, and I was talking about this spleen that's the size increased, and we can see the function of the spleen is bad. And I tell him what the spleen is important. He said, "Oh, they said they want to take it out." And I said, "Well, you're not going to live as long if they take the spleen out. So we need to do much more. There's a lot of therapy that must be now replaced when the spleen cannot not be working." Okay, so it's Sue. So it's not Douglas, it's Sue with Douglas's logins. Okay. With breast cancer. Oh, Sue, that's a bad thing to hear that you've got breast cancer. But then again, I think you were one of our clients that said, yes, it was worth it. And it's just steps that we need to take to get you healthy again. Everything's strategy. And if we've got the right strategy, we're going to get to there. So I don't see anybody calling. It seems like you guys are a little bit shy calling again, but that's the number if you want to call in. Let's take some more questions, see if there are any more questions. Oh, Sue, I see. Yeah, what you say that he died of cancer and his spleen was taken out. Sue, sorry that you're on this public forum telling your whole story about that you have got breast cancer, that your husband died of cancer. That's tough to go through. And like I said, the spouse takes more strain than anyone else. And that could also be part of the reason why you got it. Now, Sue, you're going to be fascinated when you're going to see the mindset. When we talk about the mindset and how certain mindsets are linked, or regrets are triggering different types of cancer. And I'll touch on breast cancer itself as well with the emotion. Once you hear that, you're going to be shocked. All right, I see I covered most of the questions out there. Guys, I hope it was good information for you. And it's always nice to have you online here. I've got more people seeing this after the live is done, especially our Eastern Standard Time. It's 8 o'clock by them. Like the one lady I spoke to today, she said she gets in bed to sleep already at 8:30, and so she misses it and she watches it the next morning because she's subscribed on YouTube. So just subscribe and you're going to get it. If you wonder what is our subscription, can my staff just put a text in on saying what is our, they must search for, so it's Legend Infusion. You search for Legend Infusion and you're going to get to the channel, and you just subscribe on that channel. And on that basis, or if you're watching now on YouTube, just click on subscribe. If you do subscribe, you're going to get that notification. Let me just see if there's any question I missed. It's lovely to see so many people looking forward to the mindset. When you see that, you get so, people get so excited that this information is now available. Right, so I've got a call coming in. Let's take this from Winston, the area from VT. All right, hello there.
Hello.
Who am I speaking to?
You're speaking to Judith Lasure, Lasure.
Judith, if you can just mute your YouTube so that we don't get a feedback.
I can't hear you. You what?
All right. So you must just mute your sound on your computer so that we can get to hear you. Otherwise, there's a feedback.
I lowered that down. I'm on my landline phone.
All right. Let's hear your question.
No, I'm calling in to order.
To place the order. Okay. All you need to do is send the text. You see on screen now that 346.
I don't know how to send a text to a Live 90.
All right. So you just type in that number. You type in the number and then you type in the word Live 90. And then when you type
I'm listening, so I can't do it anyway.
All right. If you can call in on that number, that other number, the 3446
call in on the 9331 number.
Yes, call in on that one, and my staff would be able to help you out on that one. Okay,
all
so
right,
it's going to go into the switchboard, but it will ask just for a call back if my staff is not available. Being after hours, but we will call you back. All right.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to see how we can help you.
Well, I'm listening to you. That's what I want to know on my cell phone. I don't know how to do it. All right, I'll call the other number.
All right. Speak to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Right, guys, there you can just see that people need that step to be able to know what's happening with them, because if they know what's happening with them, they can have another strategy and not just go and accept a standard of care. Let's create more personalized care and not standard of care. Guys, it was lovely having you here. I look forward to next time we're talking. Senior has got a question. Is 40 milligram iodine, 60 drops. Some say it is too much, and some say you need to take 30 for malaria. 40 milligram is good. You can go to 50 even, and it's still safe. So anybody says it's too much, I don't agree with that. Okay, that's just a quick answer on to that. Okay, then Barbara, I don't know if there is any space in my practice. Irrespective of whether there's space in my practice or not, I don't look at that. I focus just on the clients. I've got no idea. So if you can first do the personalized wellness mapping, that's your first step. Whether you're going to get into my practice or not is going about the first step is to be able to do the personalized wellness mapping. Thereafter, then you can at least have a guide of what you should be doing, and then we can see whether there's space in my practice for you at that time. It was nice having you guys here. I'm looking forward to the next time we talk, and it's going to be about the fenbendazole and ivermectin. Have a good night. Bye-bye.